They say Donald Trump was charged with crimes that would have been ignored if someone else had committed them. I guess orange really is the new black. Why do Americans fish with a gun? So they get the whole school. A wife was cleaning their 12-year-old son's bedroom. When she found a load of serious bondage gear and fetish mags, she asked her husband, "What do we do?" The husband said, "I'm no expert, but I wouldn't fucking spank him. My girlfriend left me because of my abandonment issues." Oh wait. She's back. She just went to get some milk. On day 6 of the creation, God announced to his archangel underlings, "Today we're creating a place called Canada. Today we're creating a place called Canada. Pull out all the stops. Give it beautiful mountains, lakes, plains, forests, and sandy beaches. Underground, give it oil, gold, etc. Oh, and plenty of fish and wildlife." "Sir," interjected an archangel, "aren't you being overly generous to these Canadians?" "Don't worry, I'll balance it out," said God. "Wait till you see the neighbors I'm giving them." A man walks into a hotel lobby with his family and whispers to the front desk clerk, "Make sure the horn in my room is disabled." To which the clerk replies, "We only have regular horn *UCK. My wife walked in on me while I was watching horn. In a panic reflex I instantly changed to a random channel, the fishing channel. As my wife walks out again she says, "You should stay on the horn channel. You know how to fish." What did one tampon say to the other tampon? Nothing. They're both stuck up CNTS. Edit. I know I can say, on Reddit without consequence. I was being courteous. I think we should stop turning normal names like Karen into slurs. It's a real ick move. Doctor, I'm sorry, but I had to remove your colon. Me why? My doctor told me that I had a healthy prostate. I was deeply touched. Wife, do men wipe after they pee? Aging husband, yes. Wipe the floor, wipe the rim, wipe the wall. Why are lesbians bad at cooking? Because lesbians prefer eating out. Bud Light has always been trans. It's water that identifies as beer. An ancient Grecian with torn clothes walks into a tailor's. Euripides? The tailor asks. The man replies, yes. Eumenides? Yup. I sexually identify as a microwave dinner. I'm done in 5 minutes and look nothing like the picture. The Ukrainian soldier. A Russian general hears someone shouting from the woods, "One Ukrainian soldier is better than 10 Russian." The angry general sends 10 men to deal with the annoying Ukrainian. After a short period of shots and screams, another shout is heard, "One Ukrainian is better than 100 Russians." The general sends 100 soldiers, and again none of them come back. Then general hears a third shout. "One Ukrainian soldier is better than 1,000 Russians." Furious, the general sends 1,000 men. This time one of his soldiers survives and reports to general, "Sir, it's a trap, there's 2 of them." From my wife, why did God create RGASMS? So women have something to moan about, even when they're happy. Whenever I get a stack of resumes on my desk at work, I always pick half at random and throw them out. Don't need unlucky people working in my department. A nun walks into the Mother Superior's office and plunks down into a chair. She lets out a sigh, heavy with frustration. "What troubles you, sister?" asked the Mother Superior. "I thought this was the day you spent with your family." "It was," sighed the sister. "And I went to play golf with my brother. We try to play golf as often as we can. You know I was quite a talented golfer before I devoted my life to Christ." "I seem to recall that," the Mother Superior agreed. "So I take it your day of recreation was not relaxing?" "Far from it," snorted the sister. "In fact, I took the Lord's name in vain today." "Goodness, sister," gasped the Mother Superior, astonished. "You must tell me all about it." "Well, we were on the 5th tee, and this hole is a monster, mother. 540-yard par 5, with a nasty dog leg right and a hidden green, and I hit the drive of my life. The sweetest swing I've ever made. And it's flying straight and true, right along the line I wanted, and it hits a bird in mid-flight." "Oh my," commiserated the Mother Superior. "How unfortunate. But surely that didn't make you blaspheme, sister." "No, that wasn't it," admitted the sister. "While I was still trying to fathom what had happened, this squirrel runs out of the woods, grabs my ball and runs off down the fairway." "Oh, that would have made me blaspheme," sympathized the Mother Superior. "But I didn't, Mother," sobbed the sister. "And I was so proud of myself. And while I was pondering whether this was a sign from God, this hawk swoops out of the sky and grabs the squirrel and flees off, with my ball still clutched in his paws." "So that's when you cursed," said the Mother Superior with a knowing smile. "Nope, that wasn't it either," cried the sister, anguished, because as the hawk started to fly out of sight, the squirrel started struggling, and the hawk dropped him right there on the green, and the ball popped out of his paws and rolled to about 18 inches from the cup. The mother superior sat back in her chair, folded her arms across her chest, fixed the sister with a baleful stare and said, "You missed the ucking putt, didn't you?" What's the opposite of Debbie Downer? Methamphetamine edit. Geez, tough crowd. At the bar last night, a woman got her nipple pierced right in front of me. On a related note, I suck at darts. Why won't Americans switch to the metric system? They have a foot fetish. Little Johnny's parents wanted to have some alone time together. ... So they sent Johnny out onto the porch with an ice cream sandwich. Not wanting the boy to finish too quickly, his mother came up with an idea to keep him distracted. "While you're eating that," she said, "watch the neighborhood and tell us everything interesting that you see." A few minutes into their lovemaking, Johnny's parents heard him yell his first report. "The Hendersons got a new car." "That's great," answered his mother. "Keep looking." More time passed, and Johnny shouted again. "The Smiths are planting flowers." "Good job," responded his father. "Keep looking." Another minute went by, and Johnny called out for a third time. "Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are having X." Johnny's parents abruptly stopped in their own activity. After a moment of silence, his mother replied with, "How do you know that they're having *X, Johnny?" "Because Billy Johnson is eating an ice cream sandwich on their porch. The police just pulled me over, and the officer came up to my window and said, 'Papers?' I said, 'Scissors, I win,' and drove off. He's been chasing me for 45 minutes now. I think he wants our match." Having homosexual parents must be terrible. Either you have double dosage of dad jokes or you are stuck in cycle of, "Go ask your mom." What's the perfect, safe word? Meatloaf. I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that. I've managed 434 days, 12 hours, 47 minutes and 17 seconds of sobriety. I'm so glad alcohol doesn't dictate my life anymore. Why is there no pregnant Barbie doll? Because Ken came in another box. I was in the supermarket with a wife today when completely out of the blue she said, "You know something? You really are a lazy bastard." I was so shocked I nearly fell out of the trolley. A police officer pulls over a speeding car. The officer says, "I clocked you at 80 miles per hour, sir." The driver replies, "Gee, officer, had it on cruise control at 60. Perhaps your radar gun needs calibrating." Not looking up from her knitting, the driver's wife says, "Now don't be silly, dear. You know that this car doesn't have cruise control." As the officer writes out the ticket, the driver looks over at his wife and growls, "Can't you please keep your mouth shut for once?" The wife smiles demurely and says, "Well, dear, you should be thankful your radar detector went off when it did or your speed would have been higher." As the officer makes out the second ticket for the illegal radar detector, the man glowers at his wife and says through clenched teeth, "Woman, can't you keep your mouth shut?" The officer frowns and says, "And I notice that you're not wearing your seatbelt, sir. That's an automatic $75 fine." The driver says, "Yeah, well, you see, officer, had it on, but I took it off when you pulled me over so that I could get my license out of my back pocket." The wife says, "Now, dear, you know very well that you didn't have your seatbelt on. You never wear your seatbelt when you're driving." And, as the police officer is writing out the third ticket, the driver turns to his wife and barks, "Will you please be quiet?" The officer looks over at the woman and asks, "Does your husband always talk to you this way, ma'am?" She replies, "Only when he's been drinking. I used to like Mitch Hedberg jokes. I still do, but I used to, 2.18 years ago, today, we lost one of the greats, R.I.P. to a legend." A chicken farmer went to a local bar, sat next to a woman and ordered a glass of champagne. The woman perked up and said, "How about that? I just ordered a glass of champagne, too. What a coincidence," the farmer said. "This is a special day for me. I am celebrating." "This is a special day for me too. I am also celebrating," said the woman. "What a coincidence," said the farmer. As they clinked glasses, he added, "What are you celebrating?" "My husband and I have been trying to have a child, and today my gynecologist told me that I am pregnant." "What a coincidence," said the man. "I'm a chicken farmer, and for years all of my hens were infertile, but today they are all laying fertilized eggs." "That's great," said the woman. "How did your chickens become fertile?" "I used a different rooster," he replied. The woman smiled, clinked his glass and said, "What a coincidence. I like my steak like X. Extremely rare." "What weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers?" "The ton of feathers, because you have to live with the weight of what you did to those poor birds." I wish this was a joke. So I'm a primary care physician, and last week we did away with mandatory masking. Today one of my young female front office girls approached me and said, "People are so much nicer to 'em when I tell them they don't have to mask anymore." I said, "That's great." She said, "Yeah, it's like when I tell a guy he doesn't need to use a condom." I'm speechless. Why do vampires never cause unwanted pregnancies? Because they need permission to come inside. Did you know that too much X can cause memory loss? I read that in a medical journal on page 64, at 2:34 p.m. on Friday 15th of August, 2021.